Okay, so recently a Battlefront 2 developer confirmed that the long-awaited Conquest game mode was being worked on. For those of you that don't know, Conquest was a staple game mode in the original Battlefront games and is probably one of the biggest community requests when it comes to Battlefront 2. Unfortunately, this good news didn't last. The post confirming the Conquest game mode was edited and then edited again, changing the meaning from confirmed to probably to maybe we're gonna get Conquest. Obviously, this is just confusing for the community, so I decided to spend today's video explaining what all of this means for the future of Battlefront 2 and the Conquest game mode. My name's Connor, and welcome back to Star Wars Central. So Dennis, a Battlefront 2 developer, posted this quote here on the official Battlefront forums. The original answer to whether we were gonna get Conquest is very simply yes. That's it, a good simple answer, which is pretty much what the community wanted to hear. Obviously this didn't last though, a new answer was posted later on which explains that they've heard the requests, they want to add a new mode, and that they are prototyping something behind the scenes. However, it's not all good news. Let's take a closer look at exactly what they had to say. I should clarify this a bit. I got a bit tired, so I simplified the response a bit too much. We're obviously hearing the request for a more free-flowing, open sandbox large game mode, and we're prototyping something of that nature for a future release. Hopefully. I'm not sure if porting over a rule set completely is the way to go yet. There were reasons why we decided not to do that previously, but as soon as I know for sure, I'll let you know. Okay, so it's not bad news. They are working on something, and he did mention that they are prototyping it right now, which could be what we're looking for. But one part I am concerned about is that they mentioned they were perhaps not going to port over a rule set completely, which is a complicated way of saying it's probably not going to be precisely the Conquest we remember. Now, there are many reasons for this, which I am going to explain. The first is that the current Conquest rule set, which exists both in Battlefield and partly in the original Battlefront games, is just not compatible with Battlefront 2. This can be because of the spawn wave system, which would undoubtedly complicate things when it comes to a sandbox-style game mode with multiple spawn points. That alone is a big hurdle that has to be resolved before a Conquest-style game mode could be implemented. The second reason is the maps. What I mean by this is that the map design and flow of gameplay is just not very compatible with Conquest. There was a viral post a few weeks ago on the Battlefront Reddit that pretty much hit the nail on the head when it came to Battlefront 2's map design. Obviously, this post itself does oversimplify. There are Battlefront 2 maps like Camino that go completely against this rule. However, it is the majority of maps that seem to follow it, which does of course bring some problems in converting these maps to a Conquest game mode. Now, I've got to be clear here, having maps designed to get more intense towards the end is not in itself a bad thing. The maps play incredibly well with the current game modes like Galactic Assault, with it always getting more intense and more impressive as the mode moves on. But the problem they are likely facing is that many of the maps they've created don't apply to a Conquest-style game mode. The maps are designed to be fought in specific directions with very restrictive boundaries. That design in itself is not compatible with a sandbox-style game mode like Conquest. So already there are two reasons why Conquest may have to be adapted to work with Battlefront 2. The third reason is based more on the past. So if you look at the history, Battlefront's original Conquest game mode was just a very near copy of Battlefield's Conquest. It's not even hidden, it's basically the same. Sure, there are nuances and differences here and there, mostly due to map design and setting rather than anything else. But at its core, the original Battlefront's Conquest was pretty much Battlefield's Conquest, but in the Star Wars universe. Now, DICE almost definitely view Conquest as their staple and revered mode of the Battlefield series, and rightfully so. Conquest was and always is the first mode I play on any Battlefield title, with only the Frontlines and Operations game modes more recently starting to take more of my attention. This heavy focus at DICE on Conquest for Battlefield may make it difficult for them to just simply put Conquest into Battlefront 2. It's part of the core identity of the Battlefield series, and obviously that brings forward some difficulties. Now, I'm not saying they wouldn't just put Conquest in. They have said they're working on a prototype right now. That much was obvious in Dennis's post on the Battlefront forums. However, what we should prepare for and ultimately be expecting is a Conquest mode that isn't simply Battlefield Conquest reskinned and slightly tweaked, but instead Battlefront 2's own original sandbox-style game mode. Now, it could very well be that this ends up being better than Conquest because something tailor-made for Battlefront 2 would obviously benefit from adapting to the maps and current design much more easily. But either way, ultimately Conquest does need to be added to Battlefront 2. It's a staple of the series, and the fans overwhelmingly want it added as a new game mode. And not only that, it would be great for improving player counts, player engagement, and ultimately bringing new people into the game. Anyway, that's it. Hopefully you guys learned something new today, that the Conquest game mode or something similar is being prototyped behind the scenes, but it's probably not going to be what you entirely remember. And this is because of a whole bunch of reasons, not just because DICE don't want to do it, obviously they do, but more so probably issues with compatibility, and at the end of the day, if they are going to make a Conquest game mode in Battlefront 2, it is going to have to be fun, enjoyable, and fair. You can't just take the Battlefield Conquest and just sort of transplant it into Battlefront 2 and expect it to work 100% of the time. So whatever's going on with this prototype behind the scenes, I really do hope that it's going well and we'll see more news about it in the future. So that's it for this video. I hope you learned something new or just enjoyed it. If you liked it, give it a like, it is free to do so, and it just lets me know which types of videos I should be making for you guys. Obviously, there's a lot of content I can do when it comes to Star Wars games, Battlefront 2, and pretty much everything Star Wars, but finding what you guys specifically want is actually quite difficult. So if you could leave a comment down below telling me what you want to see next, then that would really help me pick something that ultimately all of you are going to enjoy. I am considering starting a Star Wars games series up in the next coming weeks or so, which is going to take a look at Star Wars mods on Sins of a Solar Empire, Star Wars Empire at War, all of these great games that have these incredible mods that add a load of Clone Wars vehicles, ships. The Republic at War mod for Empire at War itself is incredible, and there's also the Star Wars 4X mod for Sins of a Solar Empire, which is equally just as good. So I am considering other types of videos and different styles of content, but I need to know what you guys think so I don't, release a video that you ultimately don't like. Anyway, I'll see you next time, and may the Force be with you.